Global, thank you so much for joining in again. This is Pranav from the product management team, and you have just joined in for the weekly live webinar of Vembu BDR Suite. Now, once again, I'm grateful to you all for joining in this session, where we are going to talk about a sneak peek into the BDR Suite version 5.6, a product which is to be released in a couple of weeks from now. I could see a lot of people, new attendees or new joinees have joined in, but still I will start on with the session. But before I start on with the session, I just wanted to make some ground rules to be clear. This webinar is having a basic ground rules, like the attendees will not be able to speak, but if you have any questions, you can just post it in a QA box at your left end of your corner, screen corner. So you can just post it over there. And we have, along with me, I do have Mr. Ashwin from the product management team as well to answer your questions. And if we have missed out any of your questions, do not worry. We'll be sending you an email with the answers or the responses for the questions within another 24 to 48 hours. And you can also find the recording of this webinar at the weekend, because we do also have another webinar to be conducted on the same topic by the 16th of March. So yes, so this is a basic ground rules that I wanted to cover here. And as per the agenda, I just wanted to cover overall the agenda which we're going to see today. So BDR Suite version 5.6, what does it have in it? We're going to talk about the new features, the enhancements that we have made in this BDR Suite version 5.6. And we'll see the hands-on experience of the product. I'll be able to show you a demo of what are the features that we have gotten. And at last, if we have some time, maybe like we can have a QA session where I can answer your questions when I pop into it. Okay. So this is how the general agenda is all about. But as I told you, like I could see a lot of people, new attendees who are new to Vembu has joined in. I just wanted to introduce them about Vembu. Vembu Technologies is a company which is registered in US, and moreover, we are more towards the data protection market. And we have been in this data protection market for more than 2 decades with our footsteps in 100 plus countries, and we have set our product to be catering to the requirements of all business types. Either it could be a small, medium, or enterprise class business. One solution would be enough to satisfy all your requirements of backup and disaster recovery. And these are the technology partners of Vembu, who we have been partnering with for a long period of time. And there are some of the futuristic products that we are building in our test labs and our research lab, which is to be incorporated in the product in the upcoming years. More to it, we do have BDR Suite. These are the customers of BDR Suite who have been using a product till date. And these guys are giants in their market. Having said, they have been a good support to Vembu till date. Now, talking about the Vembu. As I told you, Vembu Technologies Vembu Technologies is more towards the data protection market, more towards the backup and disaster recovery. And here we have 2 product portfolios under our list. One is the BDR Suite and another one is the BDR Cloud. So BDR Suite is more like a backup and disaster recovery software, which is more like a comprehensive one. Once you install it in your environment, it caters to all your requirements, and you can have you can own the software by engaging it into your environment to have a backup or to protect your data around your environment. That's the BDR Suite, and this BDR Suite is more like a business module. It's more more suites for the business modules here. Where on the other hand, I do have BDR Cloud, which is more like the cloud backup and recovery. This is a cloud-based solution where you can. It is more useful for the end users and small businesses, where they can just have a backup of their data and store it directly in BDR Cloud. So this is how we have segregated the products to be, and the BDR Suite is what we are going to talk about from now. So regarding the BDR Suite, a BDR Suite, as I told you, it is more of a comprehensive solution which caters to all your business needs. So here, if you're using one single solution that is more like a BDR suite, you can back up your, or I would say you can protect your data center either on-prem or cloud, even your private cloud data, and your SaaS applications. You can back up your endpoints. You can protect your cloud workloads using this one BDR suite. And it's more like a centralized solution. So when I say like, well, you can protect your data center, I include the virtual, physical, and cloud workloads into it. So when I say virtual, I'm actually referring to the backup and replication of your VMware and Hyper-V environments. We provide you with an agentless solution for this, for the backup of your virtual machines. And on your physical machines, if it is a Windows physical machine, either a server operating system or a workstation operating system of Windows, you can take and disk image level backup of that Windows machines. And you can later you can restore that as a virtual machine as well. So a cross-platform migration along with a BMR, that is bare metal restore option, is also available for this Windows physical machine backup. Apart from this, for Linux physical machines, we provide file or folder level backup. Either it could be a Red Hat or a Debian variant of the Linux that you have. And you can back up your application servers like Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, and MySQL. These mostly like the database servers, Exchange, SQL, and MySQL, more like a database servers. And apart from that, you also have this application supported like SharePoint, which also can be taken a backup using this BDR suite. Now, the BDR suite for SaaS application, this is one of the most hot topic around the world because widely used SaaS applications are Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. So with our solution of BDR Suite, you can back up your Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace either at an organization level or a specified user level. So when I say that you can back up the Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, I'm actually referring to the backup of the user mailbox. So this user mailbox includes the mails, contacts, calendars, OneDrive in case of Microsoft 365, and Google Drive in case of Google Workspace that could be taken a backup of. So all this put together, you can back up the complete SaaS applications, both from the Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. Apart from the mailbox stuff, you can also take a backup of your SharePoint Online and Teams in Microsoft 365. So you take a backup of these and you would get an option to restore that to the same user account or to a different user account with this solution. That's the advantage of BDR Suite for SaaS applications. And the backup for the endpoints is more useful for the IT admins here. Like if you have a bulk employees having a lot of endpoints with them, then you can use these endpoints to back up your Windows, Mac, and Linux endpoints directly from a single server. And the backup for your cloud workloads. If you have any EC2 instances hosted in AWS, you can back up those EC2 instances using the product of BDR Suite. Now, this is completely put together. It is going to be from one single console where we as Team Vembu has been moving towards a centralized solution. And this has been our motto, our vision that we are trying to push it on. So people doesn't have to go for individual products to be or individual agents to be installed on each and every environment of them. They can directly manage everything from one single console, and that is what we are going to build it for future upcoming releases. So yeah, this is about a simple solution that I wanted to explain about the BDR Suite for the new attendees who have joined in. So now, for everyone, as we spoke before, let's have a sneak peek into the BDR Suite version 5.6, a software which is going to be released in a couple of weeks from now. So I know it is more early that we are going to talk about this, but I'll just give you what all the features that we have included in it. As I previously said, BDR Suite is now more towards the centralized management, and this version 5.6 release is going to be concentrated on more towards the centralized operations from one single console, and we have made a lot of enhancements both at the software stability and on the performance basis. So it is an enrichment that we have been doing it for each and every releases as it goes. Like every 6 months once or 3 months once, you'll get a release from BDR Suite. So let's see what all we have in this version 5.6 as a new feature. The first very important one is one of my favorite, I would say. It's more like you can add your AD, Active Directory, or your LADP integration to add your Windows machines. Instead of adding it manually one by one, you can just add it directly. You can integrate your AD or LADP into the backup server, and it'll list down all the hosts that you have in your Active Directory, and you can try taking a backup of your Microsoft Windows machines directly with this solution. So this is one of my favorite option, and it has been incorporated not only for Windows, even for Linux, and this has even come for much of your endpoints as well. So here when I say Windows, it includes both Windows servers as well as the workstation of Windows. We have the same for Linux servers as well as the Linux endpoints, and even for the Mac. So that I have just put it in the third option. You have the centralized management for Mac endpoints. Initially, we had Mac endpoints to be going through the file and folder level for the Mac endpoints would be going through a client, file and folder level client to be installed on our Mac machines. But instead, now we have brought in the direct integration into the backup server itself. So no need of client now. It is directly from the backup server. You can add your Mac endpoints, and you can configure the Mac backup for your Mac endpoints as well. And that is the second option that we have. And the third is the multi-tenancy support for file servers and endpoints. Multi-tenancy is more like a feature where you can create tenants by grouping different entities, and you can add them to the backup server so that users get an option to either read or only restore what they have configured for the backup. So that is what the multi-tenancy is. So initially the multi-tenancy were provided for all the image level backups like VMware, Hyper-V, and Windows Disk Image, and we did have it for your SaaS applications and cloud workloads, but we were left out with the support for file servers and endpoints, and now we have integrated that feature as well into the version 5.6. And all these will be seeing it in a demo, obviously. So I'm just giving you the detailing here. And next to it, we have the backup for Windows backup for your Windows machines from the Linux backup server. So this is one of the important features that we have gotten. As you all know, the BDRSuite has two installers. One is the Windows installer as well as the Linux installer. So in the Linux backup server, previously we had to use a unified client to configure the backup for your Windows machines, to backup your Microsoft Windows machines. But now, from your Linux server, you can directly add your Microsoft Windows machines to your Linux server from its centralized console. That's the feature that we have brought in this release, because we are also trying to make this Linux server more useful at this stage instead of having a client. So our move towards the centralized management is being proved over with multiple options that we have listed down here. And the next is a job template. Job template, seriously, like, it is one of the important features or more requested feature by most of the customers, even the MSPs, IT admin, and many partners of ours, because during this pandemic, we did have a lot of rise in this requirement, where they add the endpoints at a bulk level, and instead of configuring backups for each of the endpoints, they can just go with a predefined template, and with that template, they can add the endpoints to it, and they can try taking a backup of it automatically. So for that option, for that request, we have brought in this backup job template even for file servers and endpoints. Initially, we had it for image level backups. Now it has been also for the file servers and endpoints. So majorly, if you could see, like, all these 5 options or the major new features that has been incorporated into the product of BDRSuite for the version 5.6. But more than this, we have a lot of enhancements to be made into the product. So in such a case, let's see what all the enhancements that we have. Yep. One is the on-demand incremental for specific VM in a backup job. While you're configuring a backup job with multiple hosts or multiple VMs, you specifically can choose, a one particular VM to run an incremental on-demand basis. Instead of going with an automatic schedule base, you can demand it on your own demand basis with this enhancements that we have made. And in relation to that, we also have this made even for the hosts at even at an incremental level as well as at the additional full backup level. Next is the list of protected hosts. Like initially, we didn't have this feature previously, but now in this enhancement, we have included the protected host where you can list down what all the hosts that you have taken a backup. Instead of seeing it in a backup job basis, you will be seeing it in a individual host or VM level basis. That's the complete list of protected hosts that we have included. Next, a lot of enhancements were towards the file servers and endpoints as well as the performance on the system and towards the SaaS application. That is how the enhancements were made in this release. So for Microsoft 365 backup, we have made sure the permanently deleted emails and litigation hold items are being supported. And on same scenario with Microsoft 365, you will be able to choose Azure environment as an option for your Microsoft 365 while adding your organization into it. And relatively, you also have the certified based MS Graph API authorization. Instead of giving it as an access key, you can directly do it through a certificate. That is an option that we also included here. And on the other hand, we have the end user recovery for MS Outlook through the BDRSuite as an add-on that we have added into the Microsoft 365. And the where it left off feature, that's one of the major importance that we have. Initially, maybe I can say that we are one of the main backup solutions or the backup leaders in the market who have brought in the feature for the first time for SaaS application backup. Because where it left off feature, well, when you have a internet connectivity seamlessly, will be if there is an interruption in that connectivity and your data, it doesn't have to restart again. It just starts from where it paused previously. So that is where the where it left off feature is going to work. And initially we had it for image and file. Now it has been also included for the SaaS applications, which is one of the added advantage for the customers who are going to use it for SaaS application backup. And we have the deleted item retention that has been handled for OneDrive, Group OneDrive, and SharePoint sites as well in Microsoft 365. And the file backup clients UI that could be seen from the server side as well. So you can see the backup progress. Even if you have configured a backup job from your client, your file backup client, you can see that progress of the backup job from the server side as well. So literally these enhancements is also towards more towards the centralization of the product. So yeah, the new features as well as enhancements in 5.6 is more towards centralization. So all these when said, we'll just go into a small demo. I'm just giving you an overview on this. So hope everyone could see my screen on my web browser. So this is completely my web browser. This is my solution of BDRSuite version 5.6. So I'm just logging into my console with a default username and password. Yeah, I believe now you must be able to see it. So this is our BDRSuite version 5.6 console. Yes. So in this console, you just log in with a default username and password, that is admin and admin, and you can just go with the typical installation here. Yeah. So this is the console. The main feature that I wanted to say here, which you could see immediately, is the changes at the top level. If, for example, you just need only a VMware backup and you don't want to see all these Hyper-V, Windows, or Linux details, then you can just switch them off by disabling them and apply it. So what happens is you'll be able to see only the VMware backup and details. Like when you go to add data sources, you'll be able to see only this VMware vSphere. If you enable it for the Hyper-V, then you will be able to see the Hyper-V role options as well. And when you enable the same for Windows and Linux, you will be able to add your Windows and Linux as your data sources. So that's the option that we have. And this goes for same for the cloud workloads, your SaaS applications, your endpoints for Windows, Linux, and Mac. You can switch them and toggle them based on your requirement. And here is the application DBs option as well. So this is the one of the simplest ways that we wanted to give the solution for, and this is the option that you have for it. And the next immediate change that I was talking about is towards the AD integration. Just go to Microsoft Windows, click on Add Microsoft Windows option. Here, initially we had an option to add your IP address or DNS name of individual machines, and you can configure the backup for it. Later, we brought in the CSV format for a bulk installation through a CSV file. But now you can directly, if you have an AD or LADP to be LDAP to be imported, you can add all your files, Windows servers or Windows workstations directly imported from this AD server, where you have to add that AD details in Priya. So for that, to add your AD details, just go to backup server, click on AD or LADP server, add your AD details or the IP address of the AD server here, give the exact domain name with the administrator credentials and the port number. And once you connect your LDAP using SSL and save it, your AD server will be listed down here. So once you list down your AD server, once you add the AD server to your backup server, just go to data sources, and whichever the option that you wanted to add, you can just add it by importing your resources from the AD server. So for me, when I just list it down, I'm choosing an all organization unit. I'm not giving a name for it. I'm just going forward. Yeah. So here, all my AD, all my sources within the AD server has been listed down. So whichever I wanted to add, I can just click on the particular machines from that directly and give it a credential, a general credential that is needed. I can give that up, and I can try pushing an agent directly, automatically with this option. So once I do so, those details will be listed down here. And if I want to remove any particular details, then I can remove it from this section to this section. That's the advantage of having an AD or LADP server. So it makes the process more simple. So I've just made an option to add all these hosts from my backup server itself through my AD integration. And that goes the same for Linux. Here, just go to add Linux. When you click on import, you can import it from your AD server with the same criteria that I have given, because that's going to be if you have a similar AD server, you can use that up. Give it a name, just go with it. You have a credentials, just give a credentials. For Linux, if the connectivity is there, you can go with the automatic option to install. Otherwise, directly download the BBA, push it up through a group policy and apply it. So you will get that details to be listed down in this section like this. And if I want to remove anything, I can just do this and remove it. So I have all things added. When I save, I'll get that details as well to be added. Okay. So I'm not pushing any I haven't pushed any BBA, so it is not listing the details here. But if I push, automatically it will be listed down in this section, as you could see in my Windows. Okay. And that's how you add your, that's a use of your AD for your Windows and Linux file servers. The same case when it is dealt with endpoints, if I'm going to endpoints, just go add my Microsoft Windows. Again, I could see this import LAD or LADP server option. And if I'm going to choose for Linux, I'll be able to do the same through AD or LADP. And for Mac, I get the same as well. So I can, whatever it is, if you have your sources, data sources added to the AD server, you can import it, you import the server details, and you can add your sources to the backup server from this option. So that's the second point that I wanted to mention. And the third point that I would like to mention is the list of protected entities. So just go to list backup, click on list protected entities, and you can see the individual host and the virtual machines that I've configured for the backup. So this is my virtual machine, and this is the parent host which I've taken a backup, and this is the host of my Windows physical machine, and here is the host of my this is a Hyper-V host with the virtual machine of the Hyper-V which I've configured a backup. So in this protected host details, instead of seeing it as a backup job, I'm able to see that as an individual host, and I would be able to restore the same from the option directly. And the next option to it is the templates, the backup templates for your file servers or your endpoints. So once I add my Windows machines or Linux machines, I can just go to backup, click on manage backup job template, create a backup job template. I've already created one. I'll just show you that. So here's the FS template that I've created. So I'm just choosing a particular template of either Windows or Linux, and I'm going to predefine what all the files and folders that I wanted to take a backup with this option. So applying all these settings, this one template will help me to configure the backup for thousands of machines which I needed to take a backup. So once I save the template, it will be useful for me when I configure the backup for my Windows machines. I'm going to use an existing template. So once I use this existing template, the next immediate step is I'm going to give a backup job name. A name might be different. Directly, I'm going to select the host. Once the host is selected, the the files or folders to be selected, the scheduling, the settings will be skipped, and we will be directly running into the review. And this would be the case for any machine that you add it in a later stage, and using this template, you can just back it up within, you can configure the backup within a couple of seconds. That's an option that we have with this BDRSuite. And this same option will also be reflected for the endpoints as well. Even in endpoints, you have the templates to be created. Well, I have already created one. So for the endpoints, just go to backup, configure backup, Windows. I'm going to use my perfect template over here, and I'm going to choose a name for it, choose the host, and that's it. This is where I get my direct review. If in case, if I wanted to add or make some changes, then I can use this option. I want to edit the configuration applied to the job template. In such a case, then you will be going through each of the stages from the template that what you have configured. Okay, so that is the advantage of having a template for both your endpoints as well as your file servers. Now, after these main concepts, the next immediate new feature that I wanted to talk is on SaaS applications. In the SaaS applications, if you're going to add your Microsoft 365 organization, we have multiple steps. So it was one of the automatic process. One is through a manual process, and another one is through a PowerShell script. So there were three processes initially. Now you can select your Azure cloud environment from this option. Either it could be your general cloud or a government high cloud or US government DoD or Azure China. You can choose these options here, and you can specifically create authorizations, and you can add your data sources to the backup server directly. So that is one of the options that we have in for the Microsoft 365 organizations that we have added, and the reporting section in Microsoft 365 is also being improved a bit when compared previously. And next, let's talk about the tenancy, because tenancy was one of the options that we were leaving out previously. And here, when I create a tenant, let me consider that I'm giving a tenant for webinar at Vembu.in. Sorry, that's my email ID. And here the tenant name is going to be my webinar. And I'm going to choose a common location where I'm going to group my users based on it. So on the next type, I'm going to choose an entity. And here, previously I didn't have the entity or adding of the entity for the file servers and endpoints. But now I can include my file servers and endpoints, and I can create a tenant of it. So when I choose here, either it could be my Windows or Linux or all. So I have one Windows machine as my file server to be added, and another is my endpoints where I can add my endpoint as well in this. That can be of Windows, Linux or Mac, whatever it is there, you can add that. So I have my file servers and endpoints selected, that's the entity, and here I'll be using the user. I'm enabling, I can add my user details, and even this user detail I can fetch it up from my AD server if required. So I can select the user from my AD server and go with either the read-only privilege or recovery access. With read-only privilege, the user can only read what he has, whereas in recovery access, the user can be able to restore the data. So that's the option that we have added here. So to be more specific on it, maybe I can show you the details, how the tenancy work. I'm just going to sign out, and this is, let's talk about the recovery option. So this is a username which I have created for the tenant, and its password. I'm going to sign in. So here I wouldn't be able to see other organization details, though I have configured the backups for it. I'm just able to see only one thing, and for this I'll be able to only view the data, and I will be able to restore the data. That's the option that I have in this the feature. So I'll be able to restore my file servers which I've configured for backup, and meanwhile, if it is an endpoint, I'll be able to restore my endpoints as well. So with this restore privilege, I'll be able to restore it. If I'm going with a read-only privilege, if the user has a read-only privilege like 10, I would not be able to restore the data, but only read through the reports. I can able to read through the reports, the endpoints, or the file recovery that we have made, and just go to the the report for the file servers. I'll just able to read the reports for the file servers as well from here. And the host details, the recent job schedules that has happened, and how about the data recovery that has happened. All those details I'll be able to read through from this section. Not able to restore, but this privilege of read-only will be available for the users when you configure it. So this is the advantage of tenancy, and that tenancy option is also available for file folders. Now, not only the UI has been improved, where you could see the new changes of the plugins, for your file servers and for your endpoints. This is your endpoints. And a lot of changes in the not only the UI but also the performance has been improved when compared to the previous versions of the BDRSuite. So this solution is to be available in a couple of weeks from now, and we would be able to see a lot of changes in your environment with with this solution, making you more ease or making the process of backup more ease and the recovery and disaster recovery to be very simple. And Vembu is not going to stop alone with this version 5.6. We are soon going to launch on our major release, which is also planned. So first, before the major release, we have this version 5.6 to be coming up in a couple of weeks. So I hope this option or the new features that is going to come up in 5.6 has been cleared for you. And if you, as I told you before, if you have any questions or if you want to have a one-on-one demo on this version 5.6, do let us know. Once the product is released, we can have a one-on-one demo on this version 5.6 as well. Okay, so once it is released, you will get a notification of the version 5.6 release where you can download the software directly from our website after it is being released. So I hope everyone is clear with this detail, and I would my hearty gratitude for everyone who have joined in the call to know about the version 5.6 features that we have incorporated into the product. I'm so happy, and I could also see a lot of questionnaires that has been coming up from your end, and my team, like Ashwin, is already answering most of the questions. And those questions, if you like, we're just checking on it. And if you're not able to answer it, please don't worry. You'll get the details once we sort it out. Like we'll just mail you the details. So using that, you would be able to understand more about the product. And yes, people, I'll also leave it now to you. If you have any questions, you can post it in the QA box. So we, before we wind up, we'll just have a 5 to 10 minutes for your questionnaires. Post your questions in the Q&A box nearby. Well, yes. So yeah, there is one question most widely people were asking, like when this will be released. So version 5.6 is into release stage. We are planning to release it in a couple of weeks. As I told you, within another 2 weeks, we'll be releasing this product. So once it is available, we all will get the details. And another question is regarding the recordings. See, people, the webinar is conducted in 2 sections. One is today, and another webinar section is on 16th of March. And that's based on the timing. So once both webinars are done, the recordings of the webinar will be posted in our website, and just go to BDRSuite.com, and in the BDRSuite.com you'll have the feature, you'll have the option under resources about the webinars. So all your recorded webinars, you can find it out over there. And if you want it through a mail, you can just through your account manager, or you can directly contact Vembu-sales@vembu.com and request for the recording, so that we can directly send you the recordings for your referral purposes after 24 to 48 hours. Okay, fine. I once again, I thank everyone for joining in this session, and it was so great having you all. And the features that I have showed you, it is a minimal one. There are a lot yet to come in the future. So brace yourself. There are a lot of new features that is going to be incorporated into BDRSuite version 5.6, where we are going to compete with the market in a higher range from now on. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in this session. Pleasure having you all in this session. Thank you. And once again, from Pranav and from the team of Product Management of Vembu. Thank you so much.